Is it really possible to maintain constant tension throughout a story? It's a valid question because ultimately, most of the memorable moments in a work occur precisely during periods of high tension. Battles, revelations, plot twists. It is often these moments that stick in the memory. It therefore seems logical to want to construct a story that maintains this pressure from start to finish. But in trying to do this, we quickly come up against a limit. Because a story is not simply a succession of intense moments, and by trying too hard to maintain constant tension, we sometimes end up achieving the opposite effect. The scenes lose their impact, and the characters their depth. So perhaps the real question isn't how to maintain constant tension, but rather, is that really what we should be aiming for? And above all, what role do moments of respite play in the construction of a story? When we try to maintain constant tension, we often overlook one crucial point. A character can evolve during the action, but it is not the same kind of evolution. Intense moments serve to confront the character with situations, to force them to act, to make decisions, to change under pressure. But this evolution is often immediate and instinctive. It is linked to urgency. The character reacts, adapts, and progresses in the moment. And even though these moments are essential, they are not enough to bring about a complete transformation. This is precisely where moments of respite become important, because they allow for a different kind of development, a deeper, more thoughtful development. The character can take a step back, understand what they have experienced, learn from their mistakes, and reinforce or question their convictions. And this development can take many forms. It can be psychological, involving a realization. It can be physical, involving training or recovery. It can even concern their status, by redefining their place in the world or within the narrative. Without these moments, events simply follow one another, but they never truly take root. The character moves forward, acts, but what they experience does not translate into clear progress. Development happens, but it isn't felt. Conversely, a well-timed moment of respite helps to give weight to what has just happened. It transforms an action into a consequence, a decision into a lesson, and an event into a genuine milestone in the character's journey. Ultimately, tension alone is not enough to develop a character. It pushes them to change, but it is the respite that gives meaning to that change. Just a quick reminder, if you're interested in creating or developing original manga, or if you'd like me to do a brief analysis of your manga in a short format, check out Collab Manga. Be sure to watch until the end of the video for more details. When we try to maintain a constant level of tension, we often think we are enhancing the overall intensity of the story. But in reality, we create a much deeper problem. We eliminate any hierarchy between the different moments. Yet effective storytelling relies precisely on variations in intensity. In a story, not every moment is meant to carry the same weight. Some must be striking, others more subdued. Some serve as transitions, others as breaks. It is this variation that allows us to build progression, a build-up, and above all to give value to the key moments. But if everything is constantly intense, then nothing stands out. A revelation has no more impact than a previous scene. A decisive battle feels like just another clash. Everything becomes uniform, and what should be exceptional becomes mundane. Above all, this approach is very difficult to sustain over time. A story cannot maintain the same level of tension constantly without running out of steam. By trying to keep up this pace, one ends up either repeating the same patterns or forcing situations, which undermines the narrative's credibility. Good storytelling does not seek to be intense all the time. It seeks to organize its moments so that some matter more than others. The reader no longer has time to keep up with what is happening. Events unfold too quickly, situations are constantly changing, and gradually the reader loses the ability to fully immerse themselves in what they are reading. Because to feel something, it is not enough simply to witness an event. You also need time to process it, to understand what has just happened, what it implies, and why it matters. Without this time to process it, the climactic moments exist, but they aren't felt deeply enough. And that is where constant tension becomes counterproductive. Through constant exposure to intense situations, the reader becomes accustomed to them. What was meant to shock, surprise, or move them gradually becomes normal. The intensity is still there on the surface, but it no longer provokes any reaction. It's a fairly simple phenomenon. A strong emotion needs contrast to exist. If everything is intense, then nothing really is. And in a story, this results in a loss of overall impact, where even the important moments end up going unnoticed. Once we realize that moments of respite are necessary, a question naturally arises: should we devote entire story arcs to them? Should these phases take up as much space as the moments of tension, or even become fully fledged parts of the story? In some cases, this can work. These arcs allow us to develop relationships, to show the characters in a different context, and to explore their personalities in greater depth. But it is not their length that makes them interesting. It is their impact on the narrative. Because in reality, a character's development is not validated in moments of respite, but in action. A quiet moment can introduce reflection or a realization, but this development must then be expressed in intense situations. That is when it becomes tangible, visible, and truly memorable. And that is why respite arcs that are too long can be problematic. If they drag on without bringing about clear progression, they slow down the narrative without strengthening the story. The reader gets the impression that nothing is moving forward, and interest wanes even if the characters are present. In most cases, a few chapters are enough, just enough to set up a development, introduce a change, and prepare for what follows. Ultimately, striving to maintain constant tension in a story stems from a logical intention. We want to captivate the reader, string together powerful moments, and keep them engaged from start to finish. But by trying to make everything intense, we end up stripping away what makes those moments truly memorable, because a powerful moment does not stand on its own. It needs to be set up, understood, and absorbed. It needs a before and an after. Without that, it exists, but it doesn't take root. It passes by, leaving no real trace. This is precisely where moments of respite become essential, not as pauses that slow the story down, but as phases where everything that has just happened makes sense, where a character understands, doubts, evolves, where a decision takes shape, where a consequence settles in. A good story, therefore, does not seek to be intense all the time. It seeks to organize its moments so that the intensity truly exists. If you are a writer, the real question is not how to maintain constant tension, but rather how to construct your moments so that they truly matter. To delve deeper into collab manga. As explained earlier, it helps boost the visibility of various manga projects through several tools made available on the platform. The first of these is a sponsorship system built into the site. Any content creator can sign up on the site and list their various sponsorship options. Meanwhile, as authors, you can benefit from the visibility provided by the content creator to promote your work. The second tool is the various social media accounts linked to Collab Manga, where chapters will be posted along with some quick analysis videos. I myself will be able to promote them on this channel, etc. And finally, there's the mobile app, currently under development. It will be a mobile version of the site, but directly accessible via the various app stores. As a result, thanks to the various notifications and the fact that the site is in app form, you'll benefit once again from greater visibility. And of course, Collab Manga features a full catalog, a messaging system, and a suggestions page to help you out if you're stuck for ideas. Obviously, all of this is only possible if my site manages to attract a large number of users, whether they're authors, screenwriters, content creators, or just readers. But that's why I'm telling you about it here. So if you know anyone, or are yourself, who wants to create their own manga or has already created some, please feel free to direct them to Collab Manga